Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. This is Jennifer. We're back in the design wall corner again. I have more shirts to show you guys, and I promise there will be some quilty content next week because I did finish Jules's quilt, which I'm going to record after I do this, but I'm going to save that for probably next week because I want her to have the quilt before I share it with you guys. I want her to get to see it first. She's seen it kind of in progress, but she hasn't seen it done. So that will be probably next week. Right off the bat, I want to talk about the shirt that is on my design wall. I know it doesn't pop particularly well because this is a white shirt on a white background. So I showed you guys previously, I don't remember when, some point in the past, I showed you Jules had given me two white linen sheets. Jules had them for a long time. Someone else had them for a long time before they gave them to Jules. They were in really good shape in general. They weren't dry rotted or anything like that. Linen sheets. They had a lot of little flaws just from weaving, but there were also a couple of little pinholes here and there and a couple other little things that just from wear and tear. So I turned one of the linen sheets that Jules gave me into this shirt. This is the same pattern I showed you guys last week, the Jensen pattern from Wardrobe by Me. That was the blue plaid shirt. This one is 3.5 inches longer and it fits. It fits perfectly. My husband really likes it. He picked out the buttons. These are shell buttons that Kat sent me from Australia probably a decade ago. This is a slightly larger version of the button. It's got the shell. This is actual shell on the back, and then that side is mother of pearl. And he wanted the shell side out, so that is what is on this shirt. I will say that I had a little bit of difficulty with the fabric, not because of the fabric, but the right side and the right side and the wrong side were only determined by the fact that there was a hem at the top of the sheet, and I had trouble keeping track of what was the right side and the wrong side. So there was a little bit of seam ripping here and there, but it's finished, it's done. I love the way it came out. I think it looks fantastic on my husband, and this is going to be just a great all-purpose white shirt for him. I think I'm going to use the other sheet to make this with a long sleeve because he's a really tall guy. He has a long torso, long arms, and long sleeve shirts. I don't know that I've ever seen a long sleeve shirt fit him that didn't have to be too long. So I'm going to make this out of something else first at some point to make a long sleeve to make sure it fits, because I don't want to cut into the linen sheet unless I'm sure. But yeah, so this is totally his style and he is in love with it, and I'm really happy that it's done and that it fits. I did want to share a little note about the blue and white one that I shared last week, the Jensen that I made out of the Timeless Treasures plaid. My son tried that on and wasn't his thing, and then ended up giving it to our eldest child, who is the same coloration, like blonde hair, blue eyes as my husband. So the blue shirt looked fantastic on them. It's a little bit too big, but they like a baggy shirt, and they like tend to double layer, so they'll wear like a shirt with another shirt on top, and it's a thing that they can wear to work. So even though it was a little too big, I did offer to make some adjustments, but they liked it as is, so that shirt has a home. You may have noticed that this video is called A Tale of Two Shirts, and that is because I also made this one. This was the tablecloth that I got from Savers back when I did that big load of laundry that mostly turned blue, and I spent a lot of time getting the blue out of that laundry. This is just slightly tinged blue still. You can probably tell that it's a slightly different white than this very white shirt. So Savers, $4, $6, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I just know it was somewhere around that ballpark. And this was just a white cotton with sort of a damask. Let's see if I can show you guys. Hope that shows up. It's got a really subtle design on the fabric, like all of the fabric. Again, this was a tablecloth. There were a couple things I had to cut around. It had one pretty sizable hole, and it had one stain that, despite all the washing when I was trying to get the blue out, didn't come out. But I was able to cut around those without a problem. So this shirt sort of happened by accident. When I was cleaning out my pattern drawer during all of the big rearrange, I found this in my patterns. This probably came from a thrift store, or maybe someone gave it to me, but I have no memory of collecting this. but it was in with my paper patterns and I had never made it. So I just decided, I found it and I was like, I'm gonna make this shirt. So it's sort of a two-size shirt. There's a women's size and a men's size, and the only real difference is there's one's a little wider, one's a little longer. They have a better size chart on their website because this is the original version. This one's from 1976. This pattern is still in print, so you can find Folkwear patterns on their website. So I went and looked at the listing for this, and they do have some adjustments that you can make that are a little bit more precise than men's and women's. So I made, based on my own measurements, I made the women's with the wider men's collar. This is meant to have a button here, but I'm never going to put a button there because there is no world in which I'm going to wear a shirt that's buttoned like that because I just wouldn't be able to stand it. So I didn't even bother with that buttonhole, but I do have buttons on my sleeves. So there's a button on each side. It's nice and blousy, and I mean, it's really very comfortable. Just based on the comments on the website, it's pretty obvious a lot of people use this for like the Renaissance Festival, that kind of thing, but I'm just gonna wear it as a shirt. I'm probably not gonna wear it for long today because it's not cool here yet, but this is like the perfect weight shirt for the level of winter that we usually have in Austin. So that's about all of my sewing that I can show you guys for this week. As I said, I did finish Jules's quilt, got the binding on and everything, and that is going to be ready for show and tell. If you're interested, we're having a Gilmore Girls quilt along over on Phantom and Stitches right now, designed by Roxanne Ludwig. You guys have a very wonderful week. You have a crafty week. Hug the ones you love, and I will see you next week. Bye.